We got some big news in today. Big news, hot off the press. Off the press. And we have a list. People love lists on this channel. We love our lists of the top miniature lines in fall 2024. According to a system that nobody knows how it works, or what.
All right.
I don't remember reporting our numbers to anywhere.
No, we did not. No one took our numbers. I guess it's from distributors. Is my best guess.
Right.
Distributors based on what
and then they're using probably like the open reports. From Games Workshop and stuff, like they publicly release sales information. So like these numbers are probably fairly accurate, but I think this is the continental United States. I'm pretty sure this is specifically the United States. So what do you think is sitting at number 1, and why is it Old World?
Well, you got me there. I guess they sold a lot of Tomb Kings and Bretonians.
That's a lot of TK box sets.
That's a lot of TK box
sets. That's a lot of Cambrian War Sphinxes.
I'm gonna go with 40K probably, maybe, or
obviously,
yeah. Okay. You have me worried there for a second.
Probably like number 1. This is the thing with this. The funny thing about this chart is people can be like, "Oh, this thing's number 7. It must be selling a lot of." It's like not really, but like
you know what I mean. Back
like,
to my pie chart one where
40K probably outsells all of these times 5 or whatever. But
you have 96% of the chart, and the other 20 spots are in the last 4%. That's good job. You're a little sliver.
You did it, man. You did it. Number 2. I think this is going to be tough to guess.
In the States.
States,
what is the second best-selling miniature game? Oh God, that's a good question. Hold on.
Is something that's on our shelf.
I feel like
obviously, because like I don't think anything could.
It's not Marvel. Is it Marvel?
No. Marvel is number 6.
Oh,
yeah.
What else?
Which I was actually kind of surprised to see.
What else do we have in here?
What do you got in this old?
Oh, is it Warhammer? Is it a Games Workshop game?
It is not.
Oh,
yeah. Which I was like, wow, respect.
BattleTech.
BattleTech, the big B, dude.
BattleTech, yeah.
Catalyst Games, dropping it down.
We really should expand our offering more than a Billy bookcase from whatever.
That's a strong Billy, though. It's of the strong. Billy. It's the widest Billy you can get.
It is the widest.
So we can
buy. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we should do double Billy.
We should probably add a second Billy.
Although it is spilling over a little bit after their recent release.
Yeah. Well, once I get rid of the dredges of Star Wars Legion, I can fill it with BattleTech, I guess.
So I'll make you guess the next 2, and then we'll just rip the list out and do a sort of commentary on it, just because it's funny.
All right.
Well, not funny, but like it's kind of actually very expected.
Is number 3 a game we sell?
Yes. No, it's not a game, but they're minis.
Oh, D&D, Nulzers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which makes sense, right? Like they're just super accessible, and lots of people buy them for all sorts of reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
Great product. Okay. Number 4.
Is that a Games Workshop game?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Age of Sigmar?
Old World. It's Age of Sigmar, but it's people buying Age of Sigmar models to use in Old World.
Of course.
Respect.
Says the guy who doesn't even have an Old World army.
I'm just here for the fun of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's great.
The High Elves came out.
They did, and I watched it come out, and I sold some kits, and it was a great time for everybody involved. Yeah. I'm on the bench still.
You didn't order the Forge World Trace guy?
I'm an Old World bench warmer. The bench is really warm where I'm sitting.
So you're like you're like a fat old retired athlete who just hangs around the locker room.
No, I'm permanently in wait and see mode.
Oh my god. That is the worst possible person to be.
It's really bad. Yeah. I'm not proud of it.
You're not reliable for anything.
I'm not. You cannot rely on me. Yeah, so don't ask me. Because I'm not reliable.
Oh, this guy plays. Yeah, not really.
Yeah. And so just rip off the last couple here. Number 5 is Heroescape, which I was like, wow, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
That was actually probably driven by the fact that it got like a big relaunch last year.
Okay.
So it's probably, new sales driving that a little bit.
Sure.
Number 6, Marvel Crisis Protocol. Number 7, Halo Flashpoint also came out last year.
Halo.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see that drop off later because initial sales are going to be big and then it kind of wanes a bit. Number 8, Bones. On there for the same reason
Reaper Bones,
that Marvelous Miniatures are on there. Number 9, Song of Ice and Fire. I was kind of surprised. But I think it's important to note that when you're getting to 9 and 10, we're really not talking about a lot of sales here.
No, you're the 9th or 10th best game in a store.
So what's number 10 then? Because it's just too funny to...
Is it Trench Crusade?
No, they don't have retail products.
Is it Star Wars Legion? No.
No, God, no. I don't know if they're on a top 100 or whatever.
I don't know.
War Machine, let's go.
War Machine?
They made it, dude. They're in the top 10. They did it. And it's funny because like...
War Machine had an old world then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they would be.
Yikes.
But I think it's also important to remember they just relaunched their game. So you're going to get a lot of...
I mean, Old World had 6 months of extra sales.
I guess so.
And that's supposed to be an AOS killer or something. The number 4 game.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Just interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. So, and then it keeps on. United States, traditionally, War Machine has done very well. It's kind of their...
Well, this is the thing. When you hear, like just, again, any loud Old World talk, it's probably, like, pockets of, like, Canada and Northeast U.S. and mostly the UK and Europe, probably.
Right.
And that was kind of historically always been the way. Like Fantasy Battles was just bigger in certain markets than the US is. Like, I mean, other than AOS, like, isn't that whole top 10 list like well, not all, a lot of it is like sci-fi games and stuff like that, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, models for
Halo.
Models for D&D or other sci-fi brands. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It gets really drudgy. It's just oh no, that's 10. Okay, I thought I went past that. Okay. I thought we got into the 10 to 20 range.
Yeah, so I think what do you think? Is there anything to read into this? Obviously, without numbers attached.
Yeah, we can only.
You can't like. You can't really read too much into things.
Knowing what I know about like just North America or the U.S. market is 40K is an absolute U.S. juggernaut or the juggernaut in the States, and Games Workshop loves it because they get to make all this revenue in U.S. dollars. They can basically, what if you like? They can keep making new editions. Like they get to raise the like Americans pay more per box than like anyone does. Like
correct.
Like a U.S. combat. I've said this before. U.S. Combat Patrol for 170 U.S. If you convert that into like Canadian money, is more than the sticker price in Canada. It's like
well above.
Like we sell them for 200 CAD here. Yeah. Like so, when I have American tourists, I'm like, you should be stocking up because. Like honestly, it's a significant cost.
Now, Jay, we're a support locals channel. Okay.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, an American tourist is buying from me in my store, he's supporting me. Yeah.
Support local actually means just support Lords of War.
Yeah, just support Lords of War.
That's really what it means.
I don't know. I'm not very surprised. The rest of the list, I don't know. I guess there's some. The War Machine one is. I guess it is having a good comeback.
Yeah, it's like we can say
even in the top 10 is pretty big.
It's relevant again, right?
And the fact I would have thought there would have been some more Atomic Mass properties on there, but I guess not. I guess
Shatterpoint has not shattered any sales records. That's for sure. It is shattering other things. Yeah,
and no Legion.
Marvel. I think Crisis Protocol is still a big seller in the U.S. especially. And I think that does speak to the fact that last year they did rally behind some good products finally again. Like they had some good, solid releases. They went back to their core fundamentals. X-Men.
Yes.
Spider-Man. Yes. Make some stuff people want to
maybe Rivals is helping a bit. And
Rivals is definitely helping a bit, Stuff that's sort of out of their control. But I think with Battletech... So, to me, the one thing that I pull off of this... with Battletech and with the Nolzer stuff, I think a huge part of that success and why they're so high on the list is that both of those companies, I think, fundamentally understand what a retail product is and how people consume products. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And both of those companies make the experience so accessible. Yeah. Like the shelf is so low for people to buy and consume those things. Yes. Like the Nolzer stuff is so cheap. Yeah. It's primed already. Mm-hmm. You just pull it out of the blister. You can start painting it. Yes. Like it's such an easy thing. Like my kids are 7 and 5, and they like to paint, and I know Bass does as well. Too, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've started to get them doing that, and they love it. Like it's great.
Yeah. It's instantly. You just put paint on it instantly, and it's designed to work with all the. You put contrast paint on it, and you can do whatever you want.
It's great.
It's like
and you can say this almost the same thing about BattleTech. Like for a game that's vastly more complicated than like, well, D&D isn't uncomplicated, but like the experience where you're just buying miniatures and whatever. BattleTech, I feel like there's a bit more involved there, like because you have to have a little bit of interest in robots, but who doesn't like robots?
Sure.
You have to basically be like, okay, maybe I'm going to play Alpha Strike. Like, I don't see a lot of people buying the BattleTech stuff not to play. Like, it is very gaming driven, it seems like.
No, but like you said, to the retail experience, like the packages are like, with a nice little window, you see what you're getting.
The models are ready to rock.
It feels like you're buying toys, which is great. Yeah. And they're not expensive. Most packs are like sell for like
pretty reasonable
under $40 Canadian, and people are like, no, I'm going to buy a couple of these and expand my collection.
And you can like, we have our BattleTech gaming night, and people can like, you can buy a box and use it in the same evening, which is like incredibly like, how good is that from a like make a sale standpoint? Yeah. We want to make a sale. Mm-hmm. You get the immediate payoff.
Yeah. So what did you say? There was HeroClix?
Hero Quest.
So HeroQuest.
It's the same kind of idea.
Board game, right?
Yeah, it's a board gaming kind of experience.
A lot of these top 10 products
pre-colored plastic
are just like open the box and play.
Yep.
Yeah. Very strong.
Yep. I mean, Song of Ice and Fire is in 9th, and that's another one that's
you can pop it out of the box and
play some games.
Yep. Very easy to play.
It is. It is funny.
I am a little surprised it's still rolling. It's probably good. It's probably mature. I could see that game actually sticking around for some years to come now.
Well, they're making new Game of Thrones like stuffs on TV.
Yeah,
that's still pretty high quality.
Even if they just didn't, like, I think it's got enough there. There's enough cool looking. It's unique enough. It has cool, narrative and models and.
I mean, their only issue is they're going to run out of stuff to make probably at some point.
Yeah,
it's the Lord of the Rings problem, right?
It is. Yeah. It probably will, maybe at some point.
Maybe.
But I feel like it had a weird lag because when it came here, it's funny. When it came here, we had all this stuff, but it had the problem of like giving people too much stuff in the Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And like we did the retail, people bought it through us, so we got all these like bundles, and then we sold them to people or whatever. People were getting like 20 boxes of stuff. It was like just these huge piles of stuff. And then I'm like, great, here you go. I'm like, I'm not going to see this guy ever because he's not going to it's just overwhelming too much. And we got like a little bit going, and then it kind of, some more factions had to come up. But like some years later, like some stores have had some success running it now that, because they actually have people that are like painting the minis and playing,
right?
I don't know,
right?
And there's more options. It's not.
I think your point is well made. Where there was these like almost like these like growing pains in the beginning.
Yeah.
There was that period, like you said, that that we couldn't get product for like 10 months, which really killed it for us.
That's true.
That's one of the reasons we don't carry it anymore. Yeah. But unlike some other things that have fallen off the shelf, I feel like the couple stores that kind of stuck with it are still kind of doing it, and are kind of like it's become a product that doesn't need to be in every hobby store.
Sure.
And it's just kind of like fallen in a couple in our area, and they seem to be doing okay with it.
There's a bit of a timing.
That's probably a healthy thing. Like, every hobby shop can probably carry 40K, BattleTech, D&D models.
Yes.
Age of Sigmar. I mean, people are going to be like, oh, Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
I think like...
it's so funny that pie chart that I made is identical almost to in a lot of ways, like at least from like that part, because like even in our store it was like 40K, and then like number 2 was like airbrushes or something, and then like either 3 or 4 was AOS, like right. You know what I mean? It's so
yeah.
And then Marvel was like 6th or something. Like it was literally was So I guess it's not off.
I think these are great charts if you're a business owner, because I think they can point to some things, like where I find it kind of helps me sometimes is it checks my own biases a little bit. It says, okay, this stuff is actually selling. Mm-hmm. Why wasn't it selling here? Like, did we give it the proper light of day, or is it just a product that needs more attention and you need to cultivate it better? And like a product like BattleTech or D&D models, like D&D models, actually, it's funny enough. Like we've been talking for like a couple of years now about like trying to find more space to put more of these things. So we're very aware of that.
Yeah.
The BattleTech one, it's like, oh, maybe this is something we need to kind of like, make a bit more room for because of just how well it's doing, right? So
yeah.
And then other games like like War Machine, like I didn't expect to see that in the top 10, but they're doing okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what next year's chart looks like, or later updated. But that's good.
The other interesting thing going back to your point, is there does seem to be this massive split on the table of like a lot of the products available that have been doing well are these like ready to play, one piece, finished in a box products, and how big of an extreme difference it is to like buy a Games Workshop kit where you have to build it and paint it and right.
I mean,
those two very polar opposite experiences.
I'm sure if you made this chart, 6 years ago, X-Wing or something would be the second or five, up there.
It might have been one at some point.
Maybe.
It was so huge.
Yeah.
But does this speak to? I wonder if this speaks to two things. Number one is like legitimately like trying to make your game accessible and like people that are there's going to be people that don't want to build a model kit.
Yep.
And now you've jumped that hurdle, right? But I always say on the flip side, I think I'm one of these people. There's always people that like that's actually part of the experience that they've come to enjoy and do. Like I don't love building models, but to me it's like part of the process still. So when I get a pre-made model, I'm always like, this is weird. Why didn't this come in parts? So I feel like you also lose some people, right? Like obviously the people that enjoy building Gunpla models or big complicated Games Workshop kits don't care that a BattleTech model comes as a solid block.
Right.
So there are two sides to that. But also are these companies that are doing this more simplified, like ready-to-made model also capitulating on something, which I think is kind of maybe an important point, which is we can't compete on quality. We're not going to be able to make a miniature that looks as good as a GW miniature without massive investment.
Yep.
So why bother trying?
Yeah, sure.
Let's just deliver on the experience we can give, which is like the immediate experience. Right?
I mean, they want to get it in the most hands, And if you make the barrier so low, like literally everyone's can buy it and play it, and you don't have any of that. Like if someone comes in here and they're like, "Oh, I want to start Warhammer," you're like, you have to take a deep breath because you're like, I have to explain 100 things to you.
Yeah.
And why you need this, this, and this, and how you really should buy this thing because otherwise, it's all the batteries you need to go with the toys. Whereas, these other things are just like, here, just take it and go. And
but do you also think that's what makes it harder to put down?
Sure.
You put the time and investment into learning Warhammer.
Of course.
It also makes it harder to put down. It's a lot easier.
Yes.
Hey, guilty.
Sure.
Of buying X-Wing miniatures and literally one day just being like, I'm done.
Of course.
Because I have no attachment or commitment to this. I haven't put any hours into it. I haven't learned how to paint. So that's
different business model.
Yeah, completely different business model.
You have to figure out like which one. It's a short game versus long game, and you could argue like, some of these companies want to like just make quick bucks all the time and have the cash flow. I mean, on the flip side, look what Games Workshop's built right now. They're just like we said before. They're like a darling. They're not even darling. They're like a significant UK stock now. Like,
they're on the top stock exchange market now. Yeah.
Like this little stupid toy company that makes like really eccentric,
niche toys. They make niche toys,
expensive as hell. Little Space Marines is like. They're like, no, we can't lose this thing. This thing is like propping us up a little. Like this is kind of crazy. And so it is. But maybe you could argue the former is easier. Maybe you can just like do your quick, easy things, and when people get tired of those, you make up another one, and
I think you're probably it's two very different mentalities. I think your customers are probably going to be a bit more transient. I think just in general, like because like you said before, like the experience is easier to pick up, so it's probably easier to put down as well.
Yeah. I mean, you can. It's kind of nuts, but that's enlightening. I'm not terribly surprised from that perspective.
No, I don't think actually the only one I was surprised to see two Hero Quest, not Hero Quest, Heroscape. I was surprised to see Heroscape so high. And I was surprised to see Song of Ice and Fire on there. Yeah. Still.
Yeah. Probably because I haven't other than like we said, the odd store around us, I haven't really seen much in person. So but like we said, we're only one little pocket, and I guess there's other chunks of the U.S. that are like.
Can AOS move past those other two? Do you think? Is it possible?
Oh, that's a good discussion. Yeah. Maybe if they go back to basics a bit. I could see. maybe if they manage to make the game more accessible again. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it just is where it is. I don't really know. Like,
do you think it's my route is actually kind of funny. I think it's possible, but not because they're going to grow the percentage of AOS sales in their company. I think if Games Workshop continues to grow at the rate they're growing, AOS will sell more products just by virtue of the company being bigger and having more reach. I think that's what could propel it into.
Of course, into second place. if they add like another 500 stores in the United States, which they probably will in the next 3 to 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then and it's the second most the second biggest wall in their stores. Then you're right. Just by being the option, it will just overwhelm. And I'm sure that's the case in general. That you're probably. That's probably why its numbers are what they are. I mean, if you walk into our store, there's like a huge section of it, so people are going to be like, "Oh my god, I guess I should be playing this." Look how much.
We try to present both games as equals in our shop. Like if we were truly representing 40K how it is sales wise, it would be half the store.
It would be half.
Right?
The store.
We'd have 4 of each kit. We'd have right, but we try to present, and this is more for the beginner experience, but also because we love both games. We try to present them as equals. Like, so we have
relatively the same wall space.
Relatively the same amount of wall space for both games, right? So, and I know that's something that's not the case, as my trade account manager will often tell me. That a lot of shops, especially in the U.S., and we had this problem when Warhammer Fantasy Battles was out as well, just barely carry, like, if they're on the what level of stockist they are, they have the least amount they have to carry, essentially. And they see it more as a I have to buy this as opposed to I get to buy this, right? So, But I mean that they lose out when something great like Soulblight Gravelords comes around and they don't have a community that's super excited to buy it. And
when such a healthy percentage of the company's new releases are in a specific game, it's like really dumb to ignore it. It's like
Cool. Well, what do you guys think about that list? Are there any surprises for you people? I keep saying guys. I promise I'm going to try to do better.
Folks.
Folks. It's a lot of great words. People. You people.
You people.
Use people. You. I'm going to start sounding like Trump on here if I start saying like that. But do you feel like the list surprised you in any specific ways? Are there any games on there that you like? Why isn't Old World on there? Why isn't Trench Crusade on there?
I think of reasons.
Based online, I can't imagine. But let us know in the comments what you think it should have been, or what you think is maybe going to change in the next couple of years. That'd be kind of a fun discussion. And as always, you can find us on Patreon. You can support us for as low as $3 a month, which we put back into the channel for you fine people. There you go, fine people. I like that.
You need to just stop.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.